Hi everybody, this is Maya Good, and this is just a general conversation about Hobonichi's leather covers. I have two of them here. I wanted to do this before I mail this one off. I just sold it, unfortunately. And I have to say, I was feeling okay about selling it because I cut my asking price significantly, and then I went to go borrow leather conditioner from one of my roommates who works leather, and his response like totally made me second question myself and feel horrible because frankly this leather, this is the 2016 green brown leather cover. It's not available anywhere online, but a lot of their leather is like this. It is so super soft that it isn't even like, it's like skin. It is like the softest skin. We were joking about, it must come from baby cows because this leather is that soft. Um, it gets scratched up pretty easily, but the scratches just make it look more beautiful. And then when I put leather conditioner in it, it just revives it in a way that you wouldn't expect from leather that's this soft. It's not quite garment leather, but it is just buttery. And when I bought it, I bought it because I really wanted a really nice cover. I wasn't totally happy about it being a magnet, but I went ahead and picked it up. And when it got here, I looked at it and it seemed so simple, but as time went on, there was something about this cover that felt luxurious in my hands. And I think that is the word that I would use for this. And I thought that, well, this must be how all their leather is. So then when I picked up, when I started using the Seven Seas notebooks, I needed a cover. And I picked up a Hobonichi cover for my Seven Seas notebook. And I just want to talk to you a little bit about the difference between, you know, this typical looking type of leather from Hobonichi and then their super high end, super expensive. The price difference, take a deep breath. I bought this for about $150. I bought this for $250. It's smaller. You would think that they would be closer in price, right? It's just leather. The difference between these two is night and day. This leather does not feel like skin. This feels much more like traditional leather. It still feels nice, but it doesn't have that skin feel to it the way that the super high-end version of their cover does. It's not as thin. It's much thicker leather. So when you open it up, you see this leather is much thicker. All of it is lined with, their typical Hobonichi cloth. So it isn't super thin, but it's just a much stiffer leather. And then as time goes on, when this one gets scratched up, the scratches look really elegant and it ages really nicely. When this one scratches up, it starts to look old. So, yeah, that's dirt, but look at these scratches. The leather is much shinier, it's much smoother, it doesn't have as much texture, and that makes the scratches just look like scratches rather than look like aging nicely. I mean, I like it okay. I like this cover, but it doesn't have the elegance that this cover has. I'm trying to get a decent picture. Like this one has scratches, but it doesn't have, like it's more scratched on the back. Now the scratches on here don't make it look just old. It just looks worn in. I think it's the difference between nice leather shoes and Italian leather shoes. Like that's the difference that I'm seeing between these two covers. Now, I will be selling this cover. I need to clean it up first. This is going to be fun. I love cleaning leather. This cover really shows its abuse more, even though I abuse this one a lot more. Like, if I was honest, I carried this a lot less. I carried this every single day for the last year. This one, I would carry it a couple times a week. Usually, I worked on it at my desk. And it does not look as good a condition as this one does. So why am I selling it? Well, y'all know I'm a minimalist, And traveling is still on the horizon, even though I've been in New Orleans for almost a year. What, 7 months, 8 months? New Orleans is definitely still on the horizon. And carrying multiple notebooks of this size gets really heavy in my backpack. A significant portion of my weight problems when I got here was due to journals. So I have moved to the Hobonichi weeks, which I talked about previously. I am testing out a regular sized Tomo River insert. After I test this out a little bit, I will pick up a B6 Slim and test it out, see which one's more comfortable. And then once I decide what size cover to get, I'm going to be picking up a Midori. Did I say Hobonichi insert? A Midori insert. So I'm testing out a regular size Midori insert. Then I will get another one and I will cut it to B6 Slim size and use that for a little bit and see which one feels more comfortable. Once I've decided what size to get, I will be getting a traveler's notebook in that size. And instead of carrying a big planner, a big A6 planner, a big 7C's notebook, and then probably like 6 or 7 small notebooks, I will have a handful of inserts in a traveler's notebook. And so it will be lighter weight by a couple pounds. It's still, after I add all the inserts and everything, it's still probably going to be like 1.5 pounds. But this alone is more than 1 pound. And my A6 Hobonichi was about 1 pound. And then I had like 1 pound of other inserts plus my wallet. I'm going to be combining it all into one lighter weight package so that when I travel, it's going to be easy. I think this is really important given the fact that I do want to travel and I want to be able to write wherever I'm at and feel that freedom. I'm definitely starting to feel less free here, and I'm realizing I need to feel more free. It's a bummer I haven't been able to go to Mardi Gras, but the crowds really would have gotten to me. But it's not just that lack of freedom. It's just I've been in the same place too long. And so once I move into the writer's residency, I will be traveling. I will, once that's up and running and we've run a couple of them, then I'm going to head for South America shortly after, probably towards the middle, maybe end of summer. So that's what's happening. I'm just going through everything and trying to declutter and get back down to size so that I'm just more flexible. Even if I don't move, I feel a freedom knowing I can. And that reflects in my writing, definitely. I read more and I write more when I feel more free. And losing that sense of freedom has been palpable. So this was just my general thoughts on their normal Hobonichi style leather covers. You can see the inside. It's, look at this. It's filthy. You know, it's filthy, but the leather, it's nice. And if I'd never felt this, I would have been like, oh my goodness, it's so beautiful, it's so soft, da, 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 da. But let me just tell you, man, this leather, I live in a house with 2 leather workers. And when I hand this to them, they're just like, oh, you're selling it, why are you selling it? I wish I had the money I could buy. Like, that's their reaction because the leather is just that good. So for those of you wondering if there's a difference between their more expensive leather covers and their cheaper leather covers, there is. The leather is just a much higher quality. As far as the quality and the stitching, it's all comparable. Like Hobonichi's leather covers are stitched really, really well. Even though this is a magnetic closure, it is stitched around this magnet. It is not a cheap looking magnetic closure. A lot of times when you get leather that has a magnet in it, it looks flimsy. It looks cheap to the point where one of my roommates was like, you know, he was talking to somebody about a design on something and he was talking about magnets. They're like, oh, we don't want magnets. Magnets are cheap. And he's like, I need you to take pictures of this because people don't realize that having magnets in small leather goods can be really elegant. And it is. It's very elegant. It's stitched all around it. The magnet doesn't move. It looks secure. None of the stitching, not one of these stitches have come loose. Even on the bookmark stitches at the bottom, they're all tight. They're all beautiful. The inside where it's cut is smooth. Like, it's not frayed or anything. Inside it's lined, which makes me think that this is a super, super light leather, because you have this leather, you have the matching leather on the back, so it's 2 layers of leather, and then you've got this material in here, which is the same material you find in the other Hobonichi's covers, you know, even in their cloth covers, it's the same material. Um, this pocket, when I first got it, I was scared to use it because it seemed so flexible and just flimsy or whatever. And then after about 3 months, I stopped being so precious with it. I started shoving all kinds of notebooks and stuff in it. And it just gets more pliable and more beautiful and softer over time. It in no way was diminished by using it. So these are just my thoughts on their more high-end leathers. Would I ever get another Hobonichi cover again? If I was getting a normal leather Hobonichi cover, no, I probably wouldn't. These are really expensive. There's really, really good leather workers out there you can get custom leather from. I wouldn't spend $150 on this because I could go and get a custom one done for $100. Would I buy another cover like this again? Not in the size. I'm not using the size anymore. But if they made a cover, a high-end cover of this quality that fit the weeks, and I had the money, I probably would, because it feels that good in the hand. And what I'm finding with the weeks is this feels really good, the size, and I can see myself walking out the door without the rest of my notebooks a lot. I'm going to put it in a traveler's notebook. I'm going to try to always have it together, so I always have my writing with me. But this feels really good in the hand. The way I can open it one-handed, you know, and write notes and flip through things, it just feels good in the hand. It feels elegant in the hand. If they made a super high-end leather cover for this, and I had the money, I would buy it. So that's how I feel about it. I do wish they had more of their high-end covers this year available. I noticed that even when I was picking my Hobonichi weeks, last year there were several weeks that I loved, and this year they're just, the designs I wasn't that interested in. And there wasn't anything like this year. The only really attractive leather covers that I saw that I would have wanted to buy were the ones that are for lottery that they always have. Those are made in Italy and they're gorgeous. And then they had a couple that zip that looks really, really nice, and they look to be comparable. But, you know, I wish that Hobonichi would do more to publicize just how beautiful the Weeks is, because this is an amazing, amazing planner. And on that note, until next time, ciao.